I have to say, any woman that can get on stage and meaningfully say that they forgive the person who their husband that quickly, you are truly a better person than me, because I've just been so angry, and so sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband. She has not explicitly said that, but the influencers are invoking.
It finally happened. After weeks of silence, speculation, and cover-ups, Candace Owens just detonated the internet with what she's calling undeniable proof against Erika Kirk. And this time, there's no spin, no defense, and no coming back in a series of shocking late-night posts. Candace didn't just hint, she dropped receipts, screenshots, emails, voice notes, and what appears to be internal communications between Erika and multiple Turning Point USA executives. Her claim that Erika wasn't just involved in the TPUSA scandal. She engineered it. "Don't let her fool you," Candace said in a now-viral clip. She wasn't the victim. She was running the operation. Within hours, #Erika exposed, #Candace receipts, and #TPUSA leaks were trending across the globe. Fans, insiders, and political commentators were left stunned as Candace showed emails suggesting that Erika had allegedly been coordinating behind the scenes, manipulating donors, leaking internal data, and staging meltdowns for sympathy points. But what sent shockwaves through the internet wasn't just the evidence, it was Candace's tone. Calm, confident, ruthless. "I told you," she said. This wasn't heartbreak. This was strategy. And the kicker. Candace hinted that there's even more coming. A second drop. One that, in her words, will end whatever's left of Erika's credibility forever. Now, Erika's silence is deafening. Her accounts are locked. Her brand partnerships have vanished. And insiders are claiming TPUSA itself is in crisis mode, bracing for what Candace might release next. So what did Candace really uncover? How deep do Erika's connections run? And why are former allies now calling her the Trojan horse of conservative media? Stay with me, because this isn't just a feud. It's a full-scale implosion to understand the nuclear fallout that Candace Owens just unleashed. We have to go back to where this entire feud began, long before screenshots, before leaked emails. Before Turning Point USA became ground zero for one of the most humiliating exposés in influencer history. Erika Kirk wasn't always the internet's most mysterious woman. For years, she branded herself as the polished, soft-spoken partner behind Charlie Kirk, the poised counterbalance to his explosive political persona. She hosted charity events, appeared at galas, and cultivated an image that screamed grace under fire. But insiders say that behind that calm exterior, a storm had been brewing for years, according to multiple former TPUSA staffers. Erika's influence inside the organization wasn't just symbolic. She wasn't merely the supportive wife on the sidelines, she was in the room. Sitting in on strategy meetings, messaging donors, and allegedly shaping internal campaigns. She was always around, one insider later admitted. But no one ever really knew what she did or who she was reporting to. That was the question Candace Owens started asking privately, nearly a year ago. Sources close to her team say she began noticing patterns, stories leaking from inside Turning Point, unverified gossip spreading about rival conservative figures, and emails being mysteriously forwarded to anonymous blogs. Every path led back to one name, Erika, but at the time, no one dared question her. After all, she was Mrs. Kirk. Candace, though, isn't known for holding her tongue. She reportedly confronted Charlie at a private event in Dallas months before their friendship imploded. "You've got a snake in your house," she told him, according to one attendee. And she's not hissing, she's smiling. The tension between them became obvious when Erika began subtly targeting Candace online, liking shady tweets, reposting vague quotes about loyalty and fake friends. and even unfollowing her shortly after a major TPUSA summit. Fans brushed it off at first, assuming it was just influencer drama. But behind the scenes, something much more sinister was happening. According to Candace's team, a coordinated smear campaign was quietly being executed against her fake leaks of private conversations. Falsified documents suggesting she'd criticized TPUSA leadership, and anonymous tips sent to gossip outlets accusing her of creating division in the conservative movement. All of it, Candace claims, traced back to Erika's burner accounts. At first, Candace stayed quiet, collecting evidence, tracking digital footprints, and building a dossier that she would later describe as the most disturbing web of deceit I've ever seen. The breaking point came earlier this year when Candace received an anonymous email titled, "You Should Have Stayed Silent." Attached were screenshots of her personal text messages she'd only ever sent to one person. Someone inside her circle was leaking them, and according to cybersecurity experts she later hired, those leaks originated from an IP address tied to none other than Erika Kirk's media server. That's when everything started unraveling. Erika's perfect image began to crack. People noticed inconsistencies in her timeline, donations made under false names, private business dealings that blurred ethical lines, and photos deleted from her social media right before new controversies surfaced. It all started looking calculated, like she'd been preparing for this moment for months. And just when Erika thought she could quietly ride out the storm, Candace Owens stepped forward, calm, collected, and fully loaded 2 a.m. livestream didn't just expose Erika. It dissected her. Candace presented timestamps, email headers, and voice recordings that seemed to show Erika communicating with individuals identified only as TP and RK, initials that online sleuths immediately linked to Turning Point executives and Charlie himself. Candace's message to her audience was brutal. You all wanted receipts. Here they are. Erika wasn't caught in a scandal. She built it. From the inside, her allegations. Gasps filled the live chat. Thousands of comments poured in instantly. Erika sabotaged her. This is bigger than TPUSA. Who else is involved? But Candace wasn't done. Her next reveal was a voice note, a shaky, half-whispered recording, allegedly taken during a private TPUSA retreat. Erika's voice, unmistakably composed, could be heard saying, "If she wants war, she'll get one. Just remember, perception is power." The clip sent shockwaves through the conservative world. Within hours, hashtags like #ErikaLeaks and #perception-is-power began trending globally. Even those who once defended Erika went silent. And yet, as the world turned on her, one strange thing happened. Erika didn't deny anything. No tweets, no posts, no public statement. Just silence. That silence became louder with every passing hour. Rumors began swirling that she was in lockdown, that legal teams were preparing responses, that her husband, Charlie Kirk, was furious but conflicted. One insider told a journalist, "He's trapped. He can't protect her publicly, but he can't abandon her either. Not yet." Meanwhile, inside TPUSA headquarters, chaos erupted. According to leaked Slack messages posted by an anonymous employee, executives were freaking out as donors demanded explanations. One message read, "We need to contain this now. Candace has receipts we didn't even know existed." But what no one realized was that Candace's receipts were just the surface. Because later that night, at 12:19 a.m., she posted a single image that would ignite the biggest twist yet. A screenshot of a Dropbox folder titled TPUSA Erika Comp. The folder's description, confidential recorded meetings. Donor strategy, black file. And beneath that, a note written by Erika herself for emergency leverage only. The implications were horrifying. Erika wasn't just manipulating narratives, she was stockpiling blackmail. Candace didn't open the folder live. Instead, she smirked and said, "You're not ready for what's inside." That single statement triggered pandemonium. Every gossip site, every podcast, every political commentator started speculating what was in the black file. 2 days later, we got our answer, and it was worse than anyone imagined. A former TPUSA intern leaked portions of the folder, anonymously to Reddit. Inside were transcripts from closed-door meetings where Erika allegedly discussed influencer control, narrative framing, and internal loyalty scoring. But what stood out most was a line in one documental belled, "Crisis simulation drill, Owens variant," according to the notes. TPUSA had allegedly conducted a mock crisis exercise months before the real scandal, testing how their media wing could handle a Candace Owens controversy. In other words, it looked like the entire implosion was planned. The internet exploded again. If Candace's downfall had been orchestrated, Erika wasn't just part of the chaos. She might have been the architect. But the story didn't end there. Because the same Dropbox folder also contained a hidden file labeled Eco7, and when opened, it revealed a chilling detail, a list of encrypted email addresses belonging to multiple influencers, a lad belled active. Some of the biggest names in conservative media were listed there, and one by one, they began quietly unfollowing Erika, deleting old collaborations and issuing neutral statements. The walls were closing in, and then Candace dropped her first twist in a surprise appearance on her podcast. She revealed that she hadn't found the folder herself. It was sent to her by whom? She refused to say. But her exact words sent chills through the audience. Let's just say it came from someone very close to her. Someone who finally got tired of being controlled. Immediately, speculation ran wild. Some thought it was a former assistant. Others believed it was a disillusioned TPUSA exec. But the most explosive theory of all, one Candace didn't confirm or deny, was that her secret source was none other than Charlie Kirk himself. The idea that Charlie might have turned against his wife to save himself split the internet in half. Comment sections filled with theories. He leaked it to protect TPUSA. He's trying to rebuild his brand. He knew she was dangerous. Meanwhile, Erika's silence became its own statement. Insiders claimed her phone was disconnected, that she'd left Arizona, and that her PR team had resigned. But then, at 3 a.m., her dormant Instagram account posted one eerie story. A plain black background with the words, "He thinks I don't know." Within minutes, it vanished. The internet lost its mind. Was she referring to Charlie? To Candace? To the insider who betrayed her? Candace's reaction came hours later, sharp and deliberate. "Oh, she knows. And so do we." That response set off the next explosion. Every outlet began reporting that Erika had allegedly fled to a family property in Tennessee, where she was said to be gathering evidence for her defense. But by then, it was too late. Her reputation was ashes. Her name had become synonymous with deceit, manipulation, and downfall. And yet, behind that humiliation, something darker was brewing. Because according to new insider messages leaked that same day, a second figure, codenamed AB, had been working with Erika all along. Someone high up. Someone who still hadn't been exposed. And Candace, in her final tweet before going silent for 24 hours, dropped one last cryptic bombshell. "You think it's over." AB was the one funding her. The internet froze. Who was AB? Why were they funding Erika? And why was Candace waiting to drop that name later? No one knew, but everyone agreed on one thing. This was no longer just about Erika's humiliation. It was about who she was protecting and Candace. Owens had just declared war. The calm didn't last 24 hours. By dawn, social feeds that had barely cooled off from Candace Owens' first expose erupted again. This time, with something no one expected, the unmasking of a bee. At exactly 6:14 a.m., Candace returned to X, formerly Twitter, with a single post, a plain white background with 2 words, "It's Blake." Within seconds, the internet went nuclear. Because the Blake in question wasn't just anyone, it was Andrew Blake, a senior communications strategist for Turning Point USA and one of the longest-serving figures in the organization's media arm. He'd been in countless videos with Charlie Kirk, frequently appeared at the same events as Erika, and was widely viewed as one of TPUSA's fixers. Now, Candace was saying he was the one bankrolling Erika's entire secret operation. Her next tweet hit like a thunderclap. AB equals Andrew Blake. He funded Erika's burner network. He helped her fabricate leaks, and he approved every hit she launched against her own team. But the internet wasn't buying it. An anonymous insider from TPUSA's digital department leaked a series of internal memos that contradicted the official line. One memo, marked confidential, referenced Operation Spotlight, a supposed internal media strategy to monitor and manage independent influencer narratives for organizational alignment. In plain English, a surveillance and control program aimed at managing voices like Tases, and who was listed as the operational leads on the project? Kirk and Blake. The pieces fit together almost too perfectly. Erika had been hired under the guise of external communication support, but her real role had allegedly been to influence or silence the very voices that TPUSA couldn't control. Candace's reaction was instant. They were spying on their own allies, she tweeted, all while pretending to be the victims of cancel culture. But then came the most shocking part of all. Something Candace herself didn't even leak. A document surfaced from an anonymous third-party whistleblower who claimed to be a former TPUSA financial officer. The document included payment logs showing over $400,000 in transfers to offshore accounts labeled Orion Holdings Media Consultation, the same Orion Holdings Erika had allegedly used months earlier, during her supposed rebrand after her fallout with Charlie Kirk. In other words, the Orion network was never dismantled. It had evolved and was still very much alive. When this revelation hit social media, people lost their minds. Erika hadn't just re-emerged, she'd never truly gone away. The humiliation Candace delivered had only exposed one side of the machine, and then something unexpected happened. At exactly 11:03 p.m., a new Twitter account appeared under the handle @phase3_official. The bio read, "Truth isn't destroyed, it's delayed." Within minutes, it posted a single video. Grainy, black and white footage of Candace Owens at an event, talking privately with an unnamed man. The caption read, "You're not innocent either." The video was short, maybe 15 seconds, but enough to spark chaos. Was it authentic? Staged? Who recorded it? Candace immediately dismissed it as deep-fake garbage, but her tone was different this time. Defensive, tense. The clip went viral in under an hour. Major news outlets began covering it. Some even suggested it was Erika striking back from the shadows. And then came a second post from the same account. A screenshot of an email between TPUSA officials dated only days before Candace's first expose. The subject line: Containment. Owens Protocol. The text of the email was chilling. She thinks she's running the story. She's not. Let her play her part. The sender's name was blurred, but the signature faintly visible read EK. Fans lost it. Was Erika back online? Had she hijacked the narrative again? Or was someone using her name to escalate the war from within? Candace responded immediately. If she wants round two, she'll get it. But this time, she's not walking away clean. But within hours, that tweet vanished, deleted without explanation. The next morning, Candace's Instagram posted a black screen with the caption, "They found me." And then, silence. Every major outlet from the Daily Wire to the New York Times began scrambling for answers. Was Candace silenced? Hacked? Retaliated against? Rumors swirled that she had been forced into a strategic retreat while lawyers handled new evidence. Meanwhile, at Phase 3_official continued posting cryptic content, fragments of documents, blurry images. Half sentences all pointing toward a single theme. The reset has begun, and buried among the chaos. One final file surfaced, a partial email draft written by Erika but never sent. It read, "I warned them it wouldn't stop with me." They laughed. They don't understand Candace isn't the target. She's the test. The world froze. That one sentence changed everything. If Candace wasn't the target, who was? Was this entire scandal engineered to manipulate the public, to test how information warfare could shape perception? Every theory that followed sounded crazier than the last, but the line between fact and fiction was now completely gone. And that's when TPUSA's official website briefly went offline. When it returned, its homepage featured a single message. Written in all caps, "Maintenance in progress." Except when users viewed the page's source code. They found something strange, a hidden message buried in the code itself. Erika was right. Phase 4 is ready. Within minutes, the site went dark again. No one knows who wrote it. No one can verify if it was real. But the timing was too perfect to be coincidence. Candace Owens had humiliated Erika Kirk publicly. She'd dropped receipts, torn apart reputations, and exposed corruption. But in doing so, she may have triggered something even bigger, something that neither of them could control anymore, because if Erika's words were true, if Candace was never the target then, the next phase wasn't about revenge, it was about erasure. The internet was no longer reacting, it was splitting apart. The morning after the Phase 3 posts and Candace's abrupt silence, it was as if the entire digital landscape had been rewired. Comment sections became war zones, Twitter spaces turned into shouting matches, and YouTube live streams with names like Candace Owens, missing or manipulated, drew hundreds of thousands of viewers who refused to log off for the first time. It wasn't clear who the villain was anymore. Half of the internet rallied under #JusticeForCandace, convinced she had been taken offline by the same hidden forces that Erika once hinted about. This isn't a scandal anymore. One influencer posted, "It's a purge. They're erasing anyone who talks." The other half? They flipped. They argued that Candace had gone too far, that her exposes weren't truth but bait. A viral TikTok theory claimed that Candace herself had been part of the operation from the start. Her humiliation of Erika merely Phase 3, her disappearance Phase 4. The theory spread like wildfire when users slowed down the clip of Candace's deleted tweet, "They found me." A faint reflection behind her in the video showed a shadowy figure moving in the background. Some said it was Erika. Others swore it was Andrew Blake. Meanwhile, Turning Point USA's reputation was collapsing in real time. Sponsors pulled funding, donors froze accounts, and campus chapters started distancing themselves. A leaked internal memo from TPUSA's board admitted the obvious: public trust has been compromised. Containment has failed. Messaging must shift to survival. The conservative media ecosystem, once united, fractured overnight. Some networks refused to mention Erika's name altogether, claiming ongoing legal complications. Others turned her into a cautionary tale. One commentator growled on air, "This is what happens when you build movements on personalities instead of principles." But the most shocking reaction came from inside the entertainment industry because Hollywood smelled blood. Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon executives reportedly began circling the chaos like vultures, each racing to lock down documentary rights. One producer leaked that an entire limited series had already been greenlit under the working title, The Control Room, inside the Erika Kirk operation. Within hours, Erika's likeness, once graceful and untouchable, became the face of corruption itself. And yet, even as her name trended under #ErikaExposed and #Phase3, something weird began happening. The people who followed the breadcrumb trail too closely started going dark. A YouTube journalist who claimed to have cracked the face system suddenly deleted his channel after posting a final, cryptic message, "I've seen enough." They're still watching. A Reddit thread with over 20,000 upvotes mapping the connections between Erika, Blake, and TPUSA's financial wing was deleted within seconds. The mods posting only, "We've received credible legal threats." And then the strangest development of all, Phase3_official vanished without a trace. The account that had triggered the second digital meltdown simply evaporated. All its tweets, videos, and followers gone. But users noticed something eerie. Anyone who had retweeted its posts found themselves temporarily locked out of their own accounts for security verification. Coincidence? No one believed that anymore. By midweek, both Candace and Erika were ghosts. Neither woman had posted, appeared, or made a statement. Journalists began speculating about their whereabouts like it was a missing persons case. TMZ claimed Candace was in protective seclusion. A tabloid out of London alleged Erika had been spotted in Geneva. None of it could be verified. That didn't stop the theories. Podcasts began describing the scandal as the conservative deep cut. Conspiracy subreddits called it the information war. And one TikTok series, viewed over 100 million times, proposed that neither Candace nor Erika existed online anymore. That what people were seeing were pre-programmed posts triggered by an algorithmic schedule. Phase 5, the narrator whispered. Automation. Meanwhile, the ripple effects reached beyond politics. Influencers in unrelated industries, fashion, gaming, even wellness began locking their DMs. Terrified of being phase-tagged, anonymous bot accounts were now dropping random comments under celebrity posts saying, "You're next." Then, in an unexpected twist, the mainstream news networks turned their lenses inward. CNN anchor Dana Ridge opened her show with the words, "We're not reporting on a scandal anymore. We're reporting on a psychological experiment happening in real time." Her investigative team claimed to have spoken to multiple cybersecurity experts who confirmed a chilling discovery. The source code from the deleted TPUSA maintenance page, the one that had secretly contained the phrase, "Erika was right," wasn't written manually. It was generated automatically by a proprietary MIA tool linked to our runholdings.translation. Someone or something had built this chaos to perpetuate itself by now. The story had outgrown its origins. What started as Candace Owens dropping receipts had mutated into something self-propagating and unstoppable, evolving digital wildfire. The more people debunked it, the more the narrative reshaped itself, spawning new layers of conspiracy. And then, just when people began to think it couldn't get more surreal, Candace's official podcast feed updated for the first time in weeks. No title, no cover art, just a new episode labeled "Listen Carefully." It was 30 seconds of silence. Then a single whisper, distorted and hollow, played through the static. Phase 5 is not the end. The episode ended with a faint sound, a heartbeat, growing louder until it cut abruptly to silence. Social media imploded again. Some claimed the audio contained embedded Morse code spelling, EK. Others insisted it was Candace herself, signaling she was alive. Still others argued it was AI generated, the next phase of the game, or the next trap. At this point, even veteran journalists admitted defeat. The story has become sentient, one wrote. No one's controlling it anymore. But deep inside the chaos, one single thread united everyone: fear. Fear that this wasn't entertainment anymore. Fear that Erika's humiliation, Candace's receipts, the leaks, the shadows, the phases, were all just layers of something far more calculated. And as one commentator on a viral live stream said, staring into the camera as thousands watched in silence, maybe Phase 5 isn't a person or a plan. Maybe it's us reacting exactly the way they wanted. The feed went dead midstream. For 72 hours, the internet was a graveyard. No new leaks. No cryptic posts. No Candace. No Erika. Just silence, eerie, unnatural silence. People began to think it was finally over, that maybe the storm had burned itself out. But the thing about silence in a digital war is that it's never peace. It's preparation, and on the fourth night, at exactly 11:11 p.m., the silence broke. A live stream appeared without warning on a dormant account called @Phase6 Initiative. There was no thumbnail, no description, just a pulsing red dot and the words "Live Transmission." Within minutes, over 900,000 people were watching. The screen was black for almost a full minute. Then a faint, flickering image came into focus. A woman sitting in a chair, her face hidden by shadows. But the voice, it was unmistakable. "I warned you," the voice said, calm, even chillingly familiar. "They thought they could use me, then erase me. But I was never theirs to control." It was Erika Kirk. The chat exploded, millions of comments flooding in at once. Is this live? Where's Candace? Is this real? Erika leaned forward, revealing her face pale, gaunt, exhausted. "They said humiliation would end me," she whispered. "They said exposure would break me. But they don't understand, they're the ones who've been exposed." And then she lifted a phone. On its cracked screen was a text message timestamped just 1 hour earlier. The sender's name, Candace Owens. The message read, "You were right." It wasn't TPUSA, it was above them. The feed froze for 3 seconds, then continued, now with a deep hum vibrating beneath Erika's voice. She spoke slowly, her tone almost detached, like she'd accepted something terrible. "They think I'm the problem. They think she's the solution. But we were both pawns, instruments in something that's been running for years. The phases aren't leaks. Their calibrations, word calibrations, made everyone stop. Because for months, people had wondered what the phase system really was. Was it revenge? A social experiment? A hoax? But Erika's next sentence shattered any illusion that this was over. "The algorithm isn't testing us. It's learning from us." The chat went ballistic. Comments raced by faster than anyone could read. People begged her to explain. Others accused her of lying. Some typed in all caps, "Where is Candace?" But Erika ignored it all. She raised her phone again, showing a folder labeled Phase 7 Echo Reset. "She tried to stop them," Erika said softly. That's why she went quiet. But it's too late. Then came a sound no one could mistake: knocking. Slow, deliberate knocks from somewhere off-screen. Erika's eyes darted toward the noise, panic flashing across her face. "They're here," she whispered. "You wanted the truth. Now you'll see it." The screen cut to static. But this time, the static wasn't random. Hidden inside it were binary codes. Sequences of O South and 1 South that digital analysts would later confirm spelled out one phrase. Phase 6 confirmed. The internet detonated once again, but this time with dread. Because when people traced the IP address of the livestream, it didn't lead to Erika's known locations in Tennessee or Switzerland. It led to a facility outside Geneva, the same coordinates, tied to our Rayon Media Holdings registered data servers. It wasn't a random stream. It was broadcast from Arion's mainframe. Within an hour, journalists, hackers, and online investigators tried to reaccess the Phase 6 initiative account, but it was gone. Deleted, wiped from every traceable server. Only the screenshots remained. And then, Candace returned. Her official account posted a single black and white image, a candle burning in total darkness. The caption read, "She's not lying." 10 minutes later, it vanished. That's when global media descended into hysteria. Every major outlet, CNN, Fox, BBC, even fringe podcasts, scrambled to piece together what had just happened. Some said the two women were now working together to expose a massive data manipulation network. Others claimed Erika was setting a final trap, that Phase 6 was her revenge against both Candace and TPUSA. But the most chilling theory came from a group of cybersecurity experts, analyzing the binary code left behind. They discovered the numbers weren't just text, they were coordinates, and those coordinates didn't point to Geneva. They pointed to Phoenix, Arizona, the birthplace of Turning Point USA. Suddenly, everything made horrifying sense. The operation hadn't ended, it had come full circle. Phase 6 wasn't the end of the Erika-Candace war. It was the reset. A new beginning built on chaos, confusion, and digital control, a final loop designed to test how far public perception could be fractured before truth itself stopped mattering. By morning, hundreds of users reported receiving strange direct messages from blank accounts. Each contained the same chilling line Erika had spoken in her final broadcast. "The algorithm isn't testing you. It's learning from you." Those who replied said their phones froze or restarted. Some swore they heard faint static through their speakers afterward. And then, for the first time, Candace Owens' website redirected to a new URL. phasesystem.ai. The page was blank, except for one sentence in flickering red text. Cycle 2 begins when silence returns. Beneath it, a timer, counting down from 7 days. Nobody knows who's behind it. Nobody knows if Candace or Erika are still free, still alive, or still in control. But one thing's certain, every time people think the story ends, it only evolves. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the real humiliation, the real manipulation, was never about Erika or Candace at all. Maybe it was about us, the audience, watching, reacting, and feeding the machine that keeps rewriting its own ending. Because the timer's still ticking. The feed is still live. And the next phase, it's already learning your name. And that's where everything stands. The receipts, the humiliation, the vanished accounts, and the chilling countdown ticking toward whatever Cycle 2 is. Candace Owens and Erika Kirk have turned a feud into something bigger than a scandal. It's become a story that's rewriting itself in real time, and somehow, you're part of it now, because if what we just witnessed is real, if the phases were never about leaks, but data calibration, then every comment, every share, every reaction from you is exactly what they wanted. So, the question is, who's really in control now? Do you believe Candace and Erika were enemies, or were they both players in a bigger machine? Did Candace expose the truth, or trigger it? Did Erika lose everything, or did she build something that's still running right under our noses? Drop your theories in the comments below, and don't hold back. The truth isn't clear anymore, but your guesses might be the only map we have left. And remember, the timer on phasesystem.ai is still counting down. What happens when it hits 0? Will it reveal proof? Will it reset the game? Or will it pull everyone who's been watching into the next level of this digital nightmare? We'll be here the moment it happens, breaking it all down, decoding every clue, and separating what's real from what they want you to think is real. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because when Cycle 2 begins, it won't wait for anyone. The silence before the next storm has already begun. And whatever you do, don't look away. Look away.